morning, students. Today we are going to learn about the topic understanding inequality. Students, next you learn the aim. What is the aim? The aim of the class inequality as it exists in our society. Next you learn the keywords. Today keywords are class and inequality. What is the meaning of class and inequality? Did you know, students? Yes, correct. Simple meaning of class, category. And then another one, inequality, means ignorance. Students, I asking one question. In India, who can vote in elections to elect the leaders? Listen carefully, students. In India, who can vote in elections to elect the leaders? Did you understand the question, students? Yes. In India, every citizen above 18 years of age has the right to vote, irrespective of caste, religion, or whether they are rich or poor, male or female, though they may have equal right to vote. They may not have equal privileges in other matters. Students, I read the case study, listen carefully, and next you answer the question. Okay. Ramu is a domestic helper in the home of a rich man named Mr. Jain. Like his employer, Ramu also has a right to vote because he is a citizen of India. In India, every citizen above 18 years of age has the right to vote. This is known as a universal adult franchise, and it is based on the idea of equality. And the next point, every person, irrespective of whether she is rich or poor, whatever education she may have, or whatever religion she may belong to, is given one vote to elect their leaders. Though everyone may have equal voting rights, all people may not have equal opportunities. In the case of Ramu, though he may have an equal right to vote as Mr. and Mr. Jain, he is not equal to them in other matters because he does not have as much money. He cannot go to a good hospital because he does not have as much money. He cannot go to a good hospital because that would cost a lot. Rather, he has to stand in a long queue with other poor people to see a doctor because it costs him less money. He cannot enjoy many privileges that someone like Mrs. and Mr. James can enjoy only because they are able to afford them. The difference in class causes inequality between Ramu and Jains. Students, come to the point. What we will learn about the case study? Did you know, students? Okay. Students, next you learn the different types of class inequality. They are people have different jobs. And then another one point, people have different income. And then next, live in different types of houses. Finally, those who earn more enjoy more privileges than others. Students, next you learn the analysis part. What does Ramu do? Already you learned the case study. You say the answer. What does Ramu do? Where does he live? How are his working and living conditions? And different from those of the Jains. Did you know, students? Yes. Ramu works as a domestic help in Mrs. and Mr. Jain house. Where does he live? While Ramu is likely to live in a slum, the Jains live in a bigger and better house and earn more money than Ramu does. Students, I asking the next question. How are his working and living conditions different from those of the Jains? Ramu cooks and cleans for the Jains, while Mr. Jain is a rich businessman and Mrs. Jain is a doctor. And then next question, what does he see when he goes to vote? Yes, while both he and the Jains can stand in the same queue to cast the vote. Finally, what happens in the hospital? Yes, Ramu needs to stand in a separate queue at the hospital, meant only for poor people like him. Students, listen carefully. Next, you compare with the two situations. How were the two situations different while casting the vote and in the hospital? Yes, Ramu needs to stand in a separate queue at the hospital, meant only for poor people like him. He feels that someone like Mr. Jain would never have had to stand in a queue like him. He would have gone to a better hospital because he had the money to afford it. Finally, next you learn the higher order thinking. How can we reduce inequality which is based on the living and working conditions of people? Did you know, students? Yes, we can reduce class inequality by respecting a person no matter what his hair, job or living conditions might be and giving equal opportunities to all. Okay students, you observing the video and complete the worksheet.